The low hum of conversation fills the concert hall, blending with the faint thump of bass lines echoing from the stage. The air carries the scent of warm electricity, perfume and fresh varnish from the polished floors. Golden and violet lights ripple across rows of velvet seats, setting the mood for the night ahead. Amid the buzz, a man in a black leather jacket and faded jeans steps through the half-open gate leading to the VIP section. A silver lanyard swings from his neck, catching bits of light with every step. The laminated pass reads Artist Access. He walks with calm purpose, humming a few quiet notes of his opening song under his breath, scanning the room with focused eyes. He's not nervous, he's grounded, tuned into the rhythm pulsing in his mind. Tonight means everything. Months of preparation, sleepless nights, and relentless rehearsals have led to this moment. His band is ready. The crowd is swelling. He's here to steady himself before the chaos begins, to take in the faces he'll soon play for and feel their energy one last time before stepping on stage. But just as he nears the front row, a sharp voice cuts through the hum. "Excuse me, sir. This area is restricted." The tone is crisp, firm, and used to being obeyed. He stops. A woman stands between him and the velvet rope, one hand on her hip, the other gripping a small tablet. Her blonde bob is precise, her navy blazer fitted tightly at the shoulders. The name tag on her chest reads Amanda. She's around 50 and carries herself like someone who spent years enforcing rules and isn't about to bend one now. He offers a polite smile. "Evening. I'm just VIP access only," she interrupts. Her voice is flat, but her eyes gleam with quiet authority. "Guests, sponsors, executives, you'll need to step aside, please." He glances at his pass and holds it up. "I've got clearance, see? Artist access." Amanda leans forward, squinting as if reading fine print. "That doesn't say VIP, she says, gesturing toward the people beyond the rope. "This area is for those funding the event, not the entertainment." The words hit like a slap. A few heads turn. Someone at the bar chuckles softly. Heat creeps up the back of his neck, but his voice stays steady. "Right. I know. I'm not here to sit down. Just wanted a quick look before we start." "I'm sure you did," she says briskly, stepping closer to block his way. "But we can't have random staff wandering around before the show." The phrase lands harder than he expects. "I'm not staff," he says quietly. "I'm performing tonight," Amanda blinks, unimpressed. "Of course you are," she replies with dry sarcasm. "You and the last 3 people who tried to sneak in." His jaw tightens, but he doesn't raise his voice. "Look, Amanda," her posture stiffens. "Did you just call me by name?" He points lightly at her tag. "You're wearing it." "Hard not to." Her lips press into a thin line. "Sir, if you don't step away, I'll have security escort you out." A murmur ripples through the nearby guests. Some glance over, amused. A man whispers something to his date, who covers a laugh behind her hand. The musician stays still, unreadable. He could flash his credentials again or call his manager to clear it up, but that's not his style. He's learned that quiet dignity speaks louder than argument. He lowers his hand and nods. "All right, if that's how it is." Amanda straightens, satisfied. "Thank you for understanding." He turns and walks toward the back corridor. Behind him, her voice drifts faintly over the hum of chatter. "Honestly, the nerve. Some people think wearing black leather makes them important." He doesn't look back. He doesn't need to. The sting isn't in her words. It's in how easily she said them, like she'd done it 100 times before. He slips through a side door into the backstage hallway. The air smells of dust, cables, and faint smoke from the fog machines. The walls tremble with the deep vibrations of sound testing through the speakers. He pulls out his phone. A text flashes from his manager, running early. "Soundcheck in 5, you good?" He stares for a moment, then types back. Perfect timing. As he pockets the phone, he catches his reflection in a metal door. Jaw set, eyes sharp, steady as ever. A muscle jumps in his cheek. Beneath his calm surface, there's a flicker of something sharper, the kind of fire born from being underestimated too many times. From behind the curtain, the muffled thud of the bass pulses again. The audience's energy builds like static, thick and electric. He exhales through his nose, rolls his shoulders, and steps toward the stage. For a moment, the lights blind him. He adjusts the microphone stand, blinking against the glare. The house lights are still half up. This is only a sound check, but a few people in the VIP section are already watching, whispering, curious. At the far end of the aisle, Amanda stands frozen. Her tablet is clutched to her chest as realization creeps across her face, slow and red. Her lips part slightly. She recognizes him now. He meets her eyes as he strums a few soft notes. There's no smirk, no hint of pride, just quiet acknowledgement. The band joins in and the sound blooms through the hall. Amanda shifts awkwardly, pretending to check her tablet while ignoring the sidelong glances from nearby guests. The sound check flows smooth and confident. Every note hits clean. Every lyric lands steady. He closes his eyes, letting the vibrations run through him like a heartbeat. For a few minutes, the earlier sting fades, replaced by rhythm, focus, and complete control. When the last chord fades, a light ripple of applause spreads through the seats. Amanda doesn't clap. Her jaw tightens as he steps down from the stage. She intercepts him near the stairs. "You could have said who you were," she mutters under her breath, her voice now tight and stripped of authority. "I tried," he says evenly. "Well," she replies, folding her arms, "next time be clearer. You caused unnecessary confusion." He glances at the lanyard around his neck. The words "artist access" gleam under the light. He raises an eyebrow. "Seems pretty clear to me." Amanda flushes, turns sharply, and walks off. He watches her go, shaking his head. There's no need to push further. Not yet. He's met people like her before, the kind who crave control, not from confidence but from fear of losing it. Backstage, the corridor hums with motion. Technicians rush past with cables in hand. The air smells of sweat, fresh coffee, and metal. He sits on a folding chair for a moment, eyes fixed on the faint outline of the stage curtain swaying under the air vents. Through a narrow gap, he can see the VIP section again. Amanda is back at her post, scanning tickets with stiff precision, her jaw set tight. Every gesture is controlled, mechanical. The same woman who dismissed him minutes ago now casts uneasy glances toward the stage. He watches in silence as a new thought begins to form, something cold, deliberate, and patient. The humiliation fades, replaced by the slow, steady rhythm of purpose. Patience, timing, performance, those are his weapons. He doesn't need to argue or prove himself. The right moment will do it for him. A tech calls out his name, snapping him from thought. "We're good to go in 10. He nods, stands, and glances once more through the curtain. Amanda is laughing now with a group of ushers, miming the earlier scene with exaggerated gestures. He can't hear her words, but he doesn't need to. He can imagine them perfectly. The tone, the mock disbelief. He really thought he was important. Even imagined the sound hardens his expression. He straightens his jacket, squares his shoulders, and walks toward the green room. Beyond the walls, the crowd grows louder, the energy tightening like a coiled spring. He takes a deep, steady breath. The night hasn't even begun, and already the story has its conflict. She thinks she closed a door on him, but what she's really done is lift a curtain. A quiet smile tugs at his lips. The music will handle the rest. The following evening, the venue hums with a different energy. Posters with his face cover every wall. The lighting crew moves with precision, their rhythm almost choreographed. The air feels alive with expectation. The show is sold out. Backstage, the musician tunes his guitar in silence, each note ringing like a promise. The memory of humiliation hasn't dulled, it's simply cooled, hardened into focus. Every sound, every vibration in the hall reminds him of what's coming. Out front, Amanda moves briskly through the aisles, her radio clipped to her belt. Her voice rings out, sharp and commanding. "Keep the aisles clear. VIP guests only in the front section." Her tone carries the same edge of control, only now it's sharper. A shield against the embarrassment she still feels. She knows she misjudged him, and though she hides it well, it lingers. Control is her refuge, and she clings to it with both hands. When the musician walks out for a quick sound check, Amanda avoids his eyes, though her jaw tightens. The moment the test ends, she's already speaking to a group of staff within earshot. "Some people think performing gives them special privileges," she says, loud enough for him to hear. "But rules exist for a reason." Her tone is smooth, wrapped in professionalism, but the bitterness seeps through. The nearby ushers nod, uncomfortable yet unwilling to disagree. He doesn't respond. He simply watches her, steady, unreadable. The anger is gone now, replaced by quiet observation. He studies every movement, every small display of authority she uses to validate herself. That's the thing about people like her. They rely on others not paying attention. But he always pays attention. Later in the green room, his manager looks up from his phone. You look like you're plotting something. He shrugs, stretching his fingers over the guitar strings. Just thinking about last night. About tonight. His tone is calm, but there's weight behind it. Sometimes people only learn when the spotlight finds them. The manager frowns slightly but says nothing. He's seen that look before. The quiet focus that comes before a performance that's more than just music. An hour later, the doors open. The first wave of concertgoers floods in. Amanda takes her post by the velvet rope. The VIP guests arrive in slow procession. Sleek suits, glittering dresses, practiced smiles. She greets them with robotic cheerfulness, scanning passes, pointing to seats. Each polite exchange rebuilds her sense of control, patching over the bruise of yesterday's mistake. Behind her, the musician's crew moves in and out, laying cables and adjusting mic stands. Amanda's eyes track them constantly, suspicion sharp in every glance. Her voice cuts through the noise like a whip. Watch those cables. Don't cross that barrier. The musician appears at the end of the corridor, hands tucked casually into his jacket pockets. He stops a few feet away. Everything good out here? He asks. Her smile is tight. Fine. As long as everyone stays where they're supposed to. He nods slowly. Good to hear. Wouldn't want anyone feeling out of place. Their eyes lock. For a brief second, her smirk falters before returning. Thinner this time. Enjoy your show, she says curtly, turning away. He walks off, but her words echo in his head. Everyone stays where they're supposed to. It loops like a lyric that demands resolution. Backstage, the band prepares for pre-show checks. The air hums with motion. Technicians calling cues, stagehands adjusting lights, instruments tuning. Amid the noise, he speaks quietly to a crew member. I want to make sure the live camera feed runs from the stage to the big screen at the back. It's already set, the crew member replies. Why? He smiles faintly. Just trust me. The plan forms with the precision of a melody, not revenge for pride but balance. Truth revealed in light. She tried to humiliate him in public. It feels right that the stage itself might return the favor, not with cruelty but with clarity. As the audience fills the hall, the noise swells. Cheers, laughter, clinking glasses. The VIP section glows beneath golden light. Amanda stands at her post again, radio clipped to her belt, scanning the room with hawk-like focus. Every movement says she owns the space, even though she's only guarding it for others. The irony doesn't escape him. Backstage, he slips on his in-ear monitors. Static hums softly in his head. The sound engineer's voice crackles through the line. 2 minutes to go. He grips his guitar, thumb resting against the strings. From behind the curtain, the sound of the crowd rises, a living pulse that syncs with his heartbeat. There's a particular electricity in moments like this. The calm before a storm only he knows is coming. He remembers her smirk from the day before, the dismissive tone, the mock authority. The image sharpens his focus. He's not after revenge. What he wants is balance. The house lights dim. A cheer rolls through the hall. The stage lights flare, sweeping across the audience. Amanda turns instinctively, shielding her eyes as the beams wash over the VIP section. For a heartbeat, everything holds still. Sound, light, motion, suspended in perfect tension. The crew signals him. He steps forward. The applause hits like a wave. It floods the hall, lifting every sound around it. For a moment, he feels nothing but rhythm, the heartbeat of the crowd syncing with his own. The spotlight snaps on, flooding the stage in gold. Through the glare, he sees her perfectly framed in light. He plays the first few notes. The sound is rich and commanding. The earlier tension melts into melody. This isn't just music, it's reclamation. Every chord declares it clearly. He belongs here, the audience feels it. They know it, and soon, she will too. Halfway through the first song, he glances toward the massive LED screen. The live feed flickers to life, showing sweeping shots of the crowd, the band, the gleam of the lights, and for a brief moment, the VIP section. Amanda freezes as the camera lingers near her. The lens catches her exact expression, a flash of surprise, discomfort, and realization. The image lingers only a second before cutting back to him, but it's enough. The audience laughs softly, sensing something unscripted, something real. Her face flushes red. She turns sharply to another usher, whispering frantically, but the noise of the crowd swallows her words. For the first time all night, she looks uncertain. After the set, When the lights fade and the crowd roars, she's waiting near the backstage door again. That was unnecessary, she says. Her voice tight, he looks at her calmly. What was that? Whatever you did with the screen. You embarrassed me, he tilts his head. Funny. I thought the spotlight was for everyone doing their job. Her lips pressed together, eyes flashing. You think this is funny? I was trying to keep order. You could have just explained yourself properly. I did, he replies quietly. You just didn't want to listen. For a long moment, neither speaks. The hallway hums with distant applause and muffled laughter from the band nearby. Amanda's face twitches between anger and something that almost looks like regret, but pride hardens it again. I'll be reporting this, she says, her tone brittle. Management will hear about your little stunt. He nods slightly. Good. Maybe they'll hear about yours too. She hesitates, then turns sharply, heels clicking down the corridor. He watches her go, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Not a smile of victory, but inevitability. People like her always double down before they break. He steps toward the stage again, the crowd chanting his name, the sound vibrating through the walls. Somewhere in the distance, Amanda's voice crackles through the radio, curt and shaky. He doesn't need to hear the words to know what she's saying. The night isn't over, not yet. The real show hasn't even started. The final night of the tour arrives beneath storm-heavy skies. Thunder rolls in the distance, rain glimmering on the city streets. Inside the concert hall, the air hums with anticipation. Every seat filled, every spotlight set. In the wings, the musician stands still, hands resting on his guitar, head bowed. His heartbeat syncs with the muffled rhythm of the chanting crowd. He's calm, but beneath that calm burns purpose. Tonight isn't just another show. It's the night everything, the insults, the humiliation, the restraint finds its resolution. Out in the lobby, Amanda moves briskly through her routine. Clipboard in hand, headset on, her voice composed but her eyes uneasy. The incident from the previous night still lingers. Management's reprimand had been sharp but discreet. She wasn't fired yet, but the warning bruised her pride. She's determined to regain control, to prove she still commands authority. She checks every pass and entrance with rigid posture and hard expression, but every time she glances toward the stage doors, something inside her tightens, an echo of fear she refuses to name. Backstage, the musician nods to his crew. Everything set? Cameras ready? Screens synced? Good, he says softly. Let's make it a night to remember. When he steps onto the stage, the crowd erupts. The sound crashes over him like a tidal wave of light and noise. He feels it deep in his bones. The release, the belonging, the raw electricity of thousands of voices calling his name. He begins to play, each chord sharp, deliberate. His voice steady as stone. The music swells, powerful and cinematic, as the giant screen behind him comes alive with live footage, sweeping crowd shots, close-ups of the band, flashes of faces lost in joy. Then, almost imperceptibly, the camera shifts. The lens drifts toward the front row, the VIP section. Amanda stands at her post, framed by the glowing rope barrier. Her headset catches the light. The camera lingers just long enough for the crowd to notice, to murmur, to laugh softly. She feels it instantly, the exposure, the weight of 1,000 eyes turning toward her. Her hands tremble as she adjusts her earpiece, pretending to focus, but she can feel the heat of the camera's gaze. The musician keeps performing, expression unreadable. To anyone else, it looks effortless, but every move is intentional. The lighting pulses in time with the music. The screen flickers again, splitting in two, the performer in command and Amanda, visibly flustered, clutching her clipboard like a shield. The laughter grows louder, not cruel, but knowing. It's a moment everyone understands without words. Arrogance meeting consequence. Amanda's composure cracks. She steps away from the barrier, whispering urgently into her headset. Get the cameras off me now! But her voice is lost in the music. The tech team exchanges confused glances. They didn't program this feed. It's live, spontaneous, untouchable. The musician strums harder, voice rising. He steps toward the edge of the stage, spotlight following. The crowd screams. He points his guitar toward the VIP section, toward her. You see, he says into the mic between verses. Some people think the front row is reserved for the special ones. The crowd quiets, listening. But tonight I think everyone deserves the best seat in the house. Applause erupts like thunder. Amanda's face burns crimson. She tries to leave, but the aisle is blocked by cheering guests. She's trapped in the glow of the very light she once controlled. The irony isn't lost on her, or anyone watching. The song crashes into its finale, the last note reverberating through the hall like the aftershock of a storm. The audience roars, stomping and clapping, some already lifting their phones to capture the moment. The camera feed freezes for a heartbeat on Amanda's face, then fades to the band's logo, dissolving into light. She disappears backstage the moment the lights dim. The headset comes off, tossed carelessly onto a table. Her hands tremble. She finds him in the corridor a few minutes later, standing near a stack of amps, a towel draped over his shoulders, still catching his breath. "That was cruel," she says, her voice sharp but controlled. "You humiliated me in front of everyone." He turns slowly to face her, expression calm, eyes steady. "No," he says quietly. "You did that to yourself." Her mouth opens, then closes. She searches for words, for something to regain her footing, but nothing comes. The silence stretches, filled only by the faint echoes of the cheering crowd still calling his name. "You could have ignored me," she says finally. "You didn't have to do this." "I tried ignoring it," he replies. "Didn't change anything. Sometimes people only learn when the light hits them." He gestures toward the stage where the glow of the spotlight still bleeds through the curtain. "That's what you wanted, right?" Control over the light. Amanda's jaw tightens. For a moment she looks smaller, stripped of the authority she clings to. "I was doing my job," she mutters. "So was I," he says. "And tonight I did it better." She stares at him, eyes flickering with anger, shame, and something close to understanding. But pride holds her tongue. "You think this fixes something? Makes you the hero?" He shakes his head. "No. There are no heroes, just people who learn too late." He walks past her, the faint scent of sweat and stage smoke trailing behind. She stands frozen, watching him disappear down the hallway toward the dressing rooms. For a brief second, her composure cracks. Her hand lifts slightly as if to call out, to apologize, but the sound catches in her throat. The applause swells again from beyond the curtain, drowning her hesitation. By morning, the clip floods social media. Audience members post snippets of the moment with captions like "Karma on stage," and "She told him he didn't belong, then this happened." The video spreads faster than the music itself. Comment sections ignite with laughter, disbelief, and satisfaction. Even news outlets pick it up. Musician turns on stage snub into viral moment of justice. Amanda arrives at the venue office that afternoon, eyes ringed with exhaustion. Management doesn't say much. The decision's already made. They use polite words, reassigned, performance concerns, but she hears the truth beneath them. It's over. Her clipboard is gone, her badge stripped from its lanyard. Outside, she spots a poster for the tour's next leg. His face stares back from the glossy surface, confident, unbothered. She studies it for a long moment, then turns away, pulling her coat tighter against the cold. Inside the now empty venue, the musician sits quietly in the VIP section, the same place she once told him he couldn't enter. The seats still smell faintly of spilled wine and perfume, ghosts of last night's triumph. He sets his guitar case beside him and leans back, gazing toward the dim stage. The silence feels earned. A young usher passes by, pausing when he spots him. "Hey," the usher says hesitantly. "You need anything before you go?" He smiles faintly. "No, I'm good. Just enjoying the view." The usher nods, then hesitates. "Heard what happened? That was kinda legendary." He shrugs. "Sometimes life just writes its own encore." As the usher walks away, he looks toward the stage one last time. The lights above flicker softly, casting long golden reflections across the polished floor. He takes a slow breath. The air is cool now, still, peaceful in the aftermath. For the first time in days, his chest feels light. Outside, thunder rolls again, distant and harmless. He stands, slings the guitar case over his shoulder, and walks toward the exit. At the doorway, he pauses, glancing once more at the empty VIP section. A faint smile touches his lips. "Funny thing about power," he murmurs. "It never lasts under the spotlight." Then he steps out into the rain, the echoes of applause still ringing faintly behind him, lingering, unresolved, like the final note of a song that refuses to fade.